Hello and welcome, my name is Reef and today I'm going to be showing you my fire build for my wizard that I'm using for Torment 3 and Torment 4 farming solo and in a group. First off, I'm going to show off my skills that I'm using. I'm using Wave of Force, Heat Wave, mostly due to the low arcane cost added to all the resource cost reduction that I have from items that I will show you in a bit. My secondary is Meteor Molten Impact. I like it because even though it's a high cost arcane spender, it does quite a bit of damage and a cooldown of 15 seconds isn't too bad. For defense, I have Frost Nova Cold Snap, the one with a really short cooldown, and Diamond Skin Prism for the resource cost reduction and the extra survivability what it gives me. Other than that, I have two passives. Magic Weapon, Force Weapon, obviously for the 20% increased damage and the knockback chance, it does help. And Prismatic Armor to increase my toughness a bit because my gear wise I'm a bit lacking in that respect. Usually for boss fights I switch Dominance over to Blur, but when I'm just attacking packs I prefer to use Dominance as a passive. Astral Presence for the increase in arcane power and arcane power regeneration. Audacity because I'm using Wave of Force, so everything close range gets the extra damage and I don't have to suffer the toughness loss from what's the spell called? Glass Cannon, sorry about that. And lastly, I'm using Evocation for cooldown reduction. Item wise, the main things that are important to this build are mostly reduction cost items and the damage increase, fire damage increasing items like the Reaper's Wraps, which also have the nice ability to restore arcane when you pick up health globes, which I do like. My Triumvirate, I have not found the Mirror Ball yet, which gives me 10% increased fire damage and 3 arcane power per crit. I'm also using a Swami for arcane on crit and extra arcane, my Cinder Coat for the obvious reduction in fire cost and increase in fire damage. Also if I remember correctly, the Axe of Sancus, that also gives me a nice bonus to fire damage. And that's basically the main things of my build. Everything else is just added extras really. I'm still looking for some awesome gear, but still a way to go. Okay, just a quick thing. I've spent most of my paragons on movement speed and maximum arcane power in core. Offense was cooldown reduction and critical hit chance. Defense is resist all and armor, and utility is area damage and resource cost reduction. Other than that, quick stats is my damage sheet. Damage isn't very high. My toughness is also quite low at 4.5 million almost. Critical hit chance is 51.9%. Critical hit damage is 4 plus 409%. Cooldown reduction is almost 28%. Arcane power regeneration is 13.4%. And resource cost reduction is 15%. That's basically it. Anyway, let me show you guys this build in action. My Frost Nova and Diamond Skin are on buttons 1 and 2 on my keyboard, which is also on a macro, so when that's activated, these two keep spamming the whole time and activate when needed and when they are the cooldown has been reduced. 3 and 4 are my passives that all have to be on, and basically I'm going to attack with Wave of Force and Meteor Impact. Let's see how this works out for me. Remember, this is Torment 3 and I am using a Templar as my follower, mostly for his healing and the added resource regeneration that it gives me. The only times that I found that this build does not work out quite well for me is usually when I'm going up against something that does a lot of poison damage. Arcane Torrent, Arcane Enchanted enemies aren't that particularly big of a problem for me because I just switch over to my Julia's Cameo amulet. Sorry about that, I keep getting the names. As you guys can see, the Wave of Force Heat Wave does a fair bit of damage and the resource cost in it isn't that high. Yeah, that Molten Impact critting for 30 million. And luckily I don't have a sever on anymore, so my crits aren't insanely or fakely high, I must rather add. But as you guys can see, this works out quite well for me. I don't have a lot of speed because my damage is quite low, but you get a fair bit of XP in Torment 3 and Torment 4, especially with other people added in the group. And I don't really die all that much for that matter, which is good. So you don't end up losing all those heart and pools of reflection. Anyway, let me know what you think of this build, and thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys again soon. Okay, bye bye.